This happened to me in the 70s. It happened to Eric in the 80s. The Gen Z generation today just assumes that if you're having trouble at home, you talk to all your friends, you post about it on social media, people help you. There was none of that back then. You were very isolated. There was no internet. Nobody knew that there was a problem with sex boys. There was just no cultural mechanism to believe or understand. Like, it's easy now for me to look back and say, wow, I should have just found some way out of that violence. But in the moment, you just feel trapped and it's just overwhelmed, and it just shatters everyone's lives. Physically, you survive it, but emotionally, you don't really survive it.
The culture at the time, people were not willing to believe that fathers their sons. I think that if Eric was Erica and you protected her, people would have you as the role of a hero in society, right?
Yeah, I think it would have at least been something that people understood better and could evaluate what justice is in that situation. Eric and I could not get to that point in the early 90s at trial. Half of Eric's jury, they were men, and all of them were making comments like, well, must be gay. It couldn't be that the father was forcing him to have sex. There's a total lack of understanding of what incest is related to boys. And I don't even think it was accepted in the 80s and the early 90s that fathers were child like that. It was another decade or two, certainly another decade after our trial, before people understood that child could be your teacher, your gym coach, an executive, a father, people like Bill Cosby, household names, or just your neighbor. There was a sense that child were kind of like creeps in trench coats hanging around schools and not regular people. Now, of course, we know that's completely untrue. There's no type. Back then, we were dealing with lots of myths. Some of the jurors didn't think that a married man could be somebody that could also the boy. Of course, we know that's not true now. A lot of the child that sexually boys are married. People didn't believe that a woman would choose her predator husband over her children, as well as the danger that children are in from parents. So there was just a lot of myths that we were dealing with in the 90s that led to, I think, a really bad result of trial. I think it would be very different today.